Archiver processes are there only when the database is in archive log mode, and automatic archiving is enabled. An Oracle instance can have up to 0 archiver processes, ARC0 to ARC. The LGWR process starts a new ARCN process whenever the current number of archiver processes is insufficient to handle the workload. What is rollback segment? Database contain one or more rollback segments to roll back transactions and data recovery. What is a segment? A segment is a group of extents, each of which has been allocated for a specific data structure and all of which are stored in the same table space. What is a synonyms? A synonym is a database object that serves the following purposes. Provides an alternative name for another database object, referred to as the base object, that can exist on a local or remote server. Provides a layer of abstraction that protects a client application from changes made to the name or location of the base object. What is an extent? An extent is a specific number of consecutive data blocks allocated for storing a specific type of information. What are data blocks? Oracle stores data in data blocks, also called as logical blocks, Oracle blocks, or pages. A data block represents specific number of bytes of space on disk. When Oracle allocates an SGA? When Oracle starts, it reads the initialization parameter file to determine the values of initialization parameters. After this, it allocates an SGA and creates background processes. What is an Oracle instance? When you start, the database instance comes into picture into system memory. Combination of the SGA and the Oracle processes is called an Oracle instance. How views are used? It provides security by restricting access to a predetermined set of rows or columns of a table. It hides data complexity. It simplifies statements for the user. An example would be the views, which allow users to select data from multiple tables without actually knowing how to perform a join. It presents the data in a different perspective from that of the base table. It isolates applications from changes in definitions of base tables. It saves complex queries. How Oracle works. An instance has started on the database server. A client established a connection to the server, using the proper Oracle Net Services driver. The server creates a dedicated server process on behalf of the user process. The user executes SQL statement and commits the transaction. The server process receives the statement and checks for any shared SQL area that contains a similar SQL. The server process retrieves data from data file, table, or SGA. The server process modifies data in the SGA area. The DBWN process writes modified blocks permanently to disk. The LGWR process records the transaction in the redo log file. The server process sends a message to the application. What contains Oracle physical database structure? It contains data files, control files, redo log files, archive log files, parameter files, alert and trace log files, backup files. What is a tablespace? Oracle use tablespace for logical data storage. Physically, data will get stored in data files. Data files will be connected to tablespace. A tablespace can have multiple data files. A tablespace can have objects from different schemas, and a schema can have multiple tablespace. Database creates system tablespace by default during database creation. It contains read-only data dictionary tables which contains the information about the database. What is a dimension? A dimension is hierarchical relationships between pairs of columns or column sets. Each value at the child level is tied with one value at the parent level. A dimension is a container of logical relationships between columns and it does not contain any data. Oracle Database Administrator Certification Training. Weekday/weekend batches. Explain sequence generator in Oracle. The sequence generator gives a sequential series of numbers. The sequence generator is especially useful for generating unique sequential numbers. Sequence numbers are Oracle integers of up to digits defined in the database. A sequence definition provides information, such as the sequence name,
Ascending or descending sequence. The interval between numbers. Whether Oracle should cache sequence numbers in memory. Sequence numbers are generated independent of any tables. The same sequence generator can be used for many tables. Sequence number generation can be used to produce primary keys for your data automatically. Oracle stores the definitions of all sequences for a particular database as rows in data dictionary table in the system table space. What is a control file? Control file is a binary file which stores database name, associated data files, redo files, DB creation time and current log sequence number. Without control file, database cannot be started and can hamper data recovery. What is an index? Indexes are structures associated with tables and clusters. You can create indexes on one or more columns of a table to enhance the speed of SQL statement execution on that table. Just as the index in Oracle manual helps you to locate information faster than if there were no indexes. An Oracle index provides a faster access path to table data. Explain briefly shared server architecture. This architecture removes the need for a dedicated server process for each connection. A dispatcher routes various incoming network session requests to a shared server processes pool. An idle shared server process from a shared pool of server processes chooses a request from a common queue, which means a small number of shared servers can do the same amount of processing as many dedicated servers. It is because of the amount of memory required for each user is comparatively small, less memory and process management are required, and more users can be supported. What is the definition of the transaction? The transaction is defined as a series of SQL statements in which Oracle considers each SQL as a single unit of work, and the transaction is done after the user logs in. Every transaction is unique and involves different details. After the transaction begins, the SQL data manipulation language will be a part of the transaction. It will be completed when a rollback or commit command is issued. Oracle database will assign a unique identifier called transaction ID to every transaction. Oracle transactions obey ACID properties, considered basic functions of database transactions. Some examples of transactions are bill pay, purchasing, and money transfer. What is the definition of group by? A group by clause in Oracle is a part of Oracle Select expression. Its existence is obligatory but still used to gather data from different records and group them. In each group, there is no similarity between two rows in their values for columns or grouping columns. The result in a group by includes a single row for each group. Group by clause is optional for a select statement, and its subsets result in groups. The main functions of the redo log is? The redo log's primary function is to record all the modifications in the database, which are used to reconstruct all the changes. The redo log secures the rollback data. What is the definition of SQL? SQL means structured query language. It is a computer language used to store, manipulate and extract data stored in a relational database management system, RDBMS. What do you understand about the public database link? The public database link is used by any user. It is created when more users require an access path to a single remote Oracle database. When your database is a public clause, then it is accessible to all the users. In order to get total records from a table, what is the keyword? To get total records in a table, we use the count keyword, and we can count null values also using count, asterisk. Do we use the materialized view? Materialized views are also called summaries as they store summarized data. Materialized views are used to store and reckon aggregated data like sales and are widely used in data centers to make decisions. What is the sequence? A sequence is an object in the database which produces an arrangement of numeric values. Sequences are created by using the create sequence command. They are mainly used in databases as many applications require unique values in their tables and sequence to furnish the values. What is data normalization? The process of reorganizing data within the database is called a normalization. Users can use the normalized data for analysis and queries. The processed data is always clean, removing unstructured and redundant data. How do you switch from an init.ora file to a S file?
It can be done simply by just creating a SP file from the file command and then close the instance and start up again. Then SP file is switched from an init.ora file. There are 4 types of backups in Oracle. They are cold backup, hot backup, import-export backup,